Dun, 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 dun. Inshallah and Ashe. It looks like I'm live everywhere today. Everything looks like it's functioning. But I always like saying Inshallah, Ashe. It kind of just brings me to my my center of peace, actually. But today's Wednesday, July 21st, and our daily snippet is brought to you by emotional integrity. Wow, what does that even look like? But before we go down into that little corridor, let's dive into the element of the day and the four pillars. So the day master of the day is called Geng, Geng, if you can see that there, or yang metal, which yang metal is unrefined metal energy. So it'd be like a crystal or something metalish, gold, whatever, a big hunk that's still in its pure natural form. And then we also have the horse on the branch, which is yin fire energy. But looking at everything except the hour pillar, we have lots of yin energy still. So that yang metal or zheng day master of the day with the horse on the branch. So the branch actually has its nice fire, it's yin fire. So it'd be like a candle, just a nice warming candle that actually brings refinement to the day master. So if this was a couple, this person's partner would refine them, which is kind of funny to say out loud. So the yin fire is really complementary for the yang metal. So everything is about balance in the four pillars cosmology. But at the hour, like today, if when the hour goes into the snake energy, the time, then we actually have a south directional frame, which is like pure essence of fire energy. So that's kind of how the elementals work. You can have trines and you can also, or triangles, and you can also have directional energy. So today we'd have a directional energy of fire during that hour, which I'm not really going to go into, but that's kind of how that looks. But, as per usual, we actually need water today to give that metal energy something to do. So water is output for metal in four pillars, especially if it's the day master. So output or action to, really give that day master something to do. So if this was a real person's chart, I would have them utilize the energy of water to get into the flow to create wealth, proper wealth, not abusive wealth, of the mind, or, there's all kinds of abusive wealth really is someone who isn't in integrity in how they create wealth. I would think of somebody like Bernie Madoff, who wasn't in integrity and taking people's money and kind of being a shyster. But here, last night I woke up at 1:30. It was like pouring rain. It was torrential. It was actually super cool. But what's curious is I kind of feel like we called it in because we need all this water. I mean, I talk about it almost every day this week. But what was interesting is the night before, I could literally smell the rain coming in. And what was curious is the energy when I woke up was super different. The sky was like the purest magical blue. There was no clouds in sight. So for me, it really hadn't rained in the physical world 2 nights ago, but it was raining in the etheric highway. So it was a sign that the rainbow bridge was open and welcoming those that recently transcended the earth plane. And now we're going through the different journeys to get to the cosmic realm over there. So the sky was truly magical yesterday morning, and so were my birds, my high vibe birds. But let's just continue with the cosmic energy of the day. So just nature in general. But also, I can't believe I forgot to talk about the moon yesterday. So of all the things, the moon. But today, as we float into the realm of the physical world, would be a day to muse about how you feel about yourself on your inner garden, to nurture your outer garden. It's like our emotional foundation, or what our emotional security is. And when I say emotional security, are your feelings being validated by those around you or your inner self? Sometimes we're told how to feel. Well, that's not validation there, and it's not anybody's choice to tell us how we feel. We have our own emotional state of awareness, and we know how we feel. So if you feel sad, feel into your sadness, cry. It's totally okay. If you feel hungry, eat. Just be aware of how certain foods make you feel, because obviously that is truly a thing. I stay away from spicy foods. I mean, it's nice and all, but later on I might pay for it depending on the spice, and sometimes I like it, but it's just, I have to feel into it. So later today, you also might feel into your light heart, the essence of the core of your heart, and just go into a place where you can feel your heart and be honest with your heart, like light it up. So it's like having integrity with the heart to heart, or inner heart, outer heart, middle heart, because we have different levels in our heart space too. And today being the last day of the Cancer season, the astrological sign of Cancer, this is a day with any sign on the last day. It's like pushing our daily limits or pushing life to the limits. It's like if you're a race car driver, think of a NASCAR race car, you got the final lap, or you're running a horse in the Kentucky Derby and you're right there. So it might feel a little extreme and a little chaotic, but it also might feel a little exciting at the same time. So we have these two frequencies of testing our initial integrity. So one is with our actions and our character or our behaviors and how we feel or react to all of them. But what's curious in the duality of the two is that something really might trigger us today and take us in this downward spiral, which I'm going to get to the spiral at the end of today's show. But the most important thing to do if that happens is to always respond to the needs of what you feel. And oftentimes we do the complete opposite. We respond to somebody else's needs and we put what we need in our feelings, on the shelf. So, have you ever met anyone with an Aries moon? Like, they react first and they feel into it later, which really ultimately causes their emotional field drama. You literally have to put them on the shelf sometimes. They're can create an entanglement. But if you know somebody with an Aries moon, just sit and watch them. I'm sure you kind of know what I'm talking about if you know somebody with an Aries moon. So today, nurture your feelings, ask them, and give them truly what they want. If you want to lay on the couch, lay on the couch. If you want to read a book, read a book. If you want to make an amazing homemade spaghetti, do it. Whatever you feel like doing, flow into that stream of consciousness. Bring down those river streams from both realms. I have a lot of people that always want to ascend. We're in the ascension process, which is great, but you still have to descend a little bit too to bring the ascension down. It's really not a one-way street. But I guess, that's all opinions as well. But when we do this, we're really in this state of integrity, which, again, I think integrity is a variety of things for a lot of us. We're not all, for me, integrity is all about honoring your word. If people don't honor their word, I know they're not in alignment with integrity or my idea of what integrity is. So that's huge for me. It's always been a thing. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. But this is a truly high frequency vibration state of consciousness kind of day. So when we align with and heal by our actions of self-love and adding more love to our own personal sacred garden around us, that includes the people, the places, the environment, people we work with, people, where we go shopping. You have to kind of feel into those places. And if they don't make you feel all yummy and healthy on the inside, then on the outside, they're not bringing that frequency to you. So today is truly a day to ultimately give your feelings some nourishment, a state of love of ourself, not just today, but actually in every action and every day from this day forward would probably be totally contagious and helpful. So if an old past emotional challenge comes into your field today, even from another timeline, sometimes that happens, it's a test that we're really capable of managing our feelings and feeling into them without judgment. So it's like the teacher giving you a C plus when you know you nailed it kind of a day. So do be kind and also be loving to yourself today. Be sure to take a breath and a pause in between, during, and after the test. So sometimes our inner critic will come out, and that's just an awareness that this is seriously a test. It's the test of all tests. Kind of reminds me of the test of all tests in Young Guns, when he says that. But it's just to create a validation where we can perform emotionally to our highest frequency and vibration. And honestly, there's no such thing as a mistake. Sometimes we just keep repeating the memo until we truly get the lesson. Like, you won't believe how many times I've redone things just because of my brain, my inner critic gets in the way. But today would be a great day to bring in a talisman, to do whatever you're called for. I have a variety of stones and amulets that I wear, but the intention for today is good fortune, healthy good fortune, a transition in our healing of the earth plane, and the wisdom to act actually consciously and wisely. So our heart center actually goes online today. Green jewels, you probably can't see mine, like an emerald would be something to wear today. The color green, anything actually green, a shade of plant green, from yellow green to blue aqua greens, even being or imagining being in the ocean with that turquoise kind of blue green, a lake or some scenery. I have a ton of nature images and castles on my personal page, by the way, if you need a visual to kind of tune into. Forest greens, ferns, wow, fern gully. Those are just intuition of love of nature is actually really the visual I see for today. Literally ferns and, the redwood forest, whatever, you can bring your light into. Go to a forest too if you can. And just imagine yourself like you're thriving and vibrating like a forest, and hold the frequency of nature, because nature is always in that higher vibe sensation. Have a different response to a trigger, just staying in the frequency of the galactic love zone. Create your own galactic love zone. And, focus all of your energy from your heart space out to the galactic universal core. And you just got to know that you are being the magical being that is yet to come. Like, see yourself in the future as this magical being that you are, and what that looks like, and really hold that tonality, that frequency that's yet to come. Seriously, if you hang on to a frequency like that and you keep it in your visual, your gut feeling, and just see yourself as that being. So, for example, if you want to be that race car driver, hold that vision, give it time and space, and literally take the steps to get there. And you can literally watch your personal movie play out with you as the center role, the driver. So, make your life easier today by taking really those first steps. It's like, a baby taking its first step, and really just let go of all the pressure of being told how you're supposed to feel. And I have people sometimes try to tell me how I feel, and I'm like, no, I don't feel that way. And of course, I use my inside voice because I know, A, they're probably not listening, and B, I'm not really going to argue about how I truly feel. I have to tune into my feelings, or I become emotionally disrupted. And usually why that's happening is because the person around me, I need to disrupt their emotions. So it's kind of this inner outer kind of thing that goes on. But I have to be mindful of truly what I'm feeling and pay attention to my intuition. So I have these feeling to feeling conversations all the time. I'm always asking, is this me or is this them? And then the telepathy kicks in. It's a whole process. But today, myself, I am starting my smoothies again for a turnaround to inner self-love, just raising my nutrition quotient. Honestly, it's part of my personal self-love story. So ask yourself too, what can you do for 40 days, actually 41, to light up your love quotient and also the skin you are in? So nutrition is one of those things. The balance of being, I talk about these 6 natural resources that we all have. And it's kind of a journey to loving ourselves on these 6 different frequencies and more, really. But I'm going to start that tomorrow, so kind of be excited about that because I am. The Archangels of the day. We can still call in Gabriel. This is kind of the last day, but I'm just kidding. You know, he's just not going to be the main being for the day. So we have Metatron, which I'm super stoked about, Raziel and Ariel. I talked about Ariel, but I like Ariel just for the healing energies of nature and the cosmic highway. You know, it's the earth, it's the nature spirits, it's the fairies, it's the animals. So it's all these mystical, magical beings that we can call in for guidance and connect with those creative places in nature. I would seriously create the emotional paradise. Like, I really have a fairy village that I nurture and maintain. I'm like, it's like creating my own Garden of Eden with these beings. Then we have Raziel, the secrets of God, which is kind of funny to think about God having secrets, but I think sometimes secrets are good because people can't handle too much of the universal laws or the laws of spirit, and it's kind of gets conundrum. It kind of freaks us out if it's too much, you know. So we get opened up gently, like cracking an egg if you were kind. But Raziel's the gatekeeper to the mysteries of the divine, this supreme beingness of knowledge and holder of our soul. So it's super cool. And you can bring in Raziel if you want to really raise the frequency or your energy field to have assistance in your day-to-day life. So, you know, if you have reoccurring dreams or thoughts or images or even ideas, you can call in Raziel just for, you know, truly giving you guidance to our soul's destiny through all our living times, lifetimes and lifetimes, incarnations, timelines, future, past, you know, all of it. It's pretty juicy. Then we have Metatron, which, you know, you can bring in the Merkaba to run through all of your energetic centers, the inner and the outer realms, and even your future realms, your future self, what you look like in the future, to even just remove all of the toxic debris, the chaos that might be trying to get in your field. So Metatron is like the keeper of the galactic mysteries of our universe. You know, like sacred energetic tools. And a great book, or actually author, I should say, is Mikio Sankey. If you want to get into sacred geometry with acupuncture, he's taken this realm, you know, to a whole nother level. It's super cool to work with the acupuncture points and create sacred geometry grid points on your body. It's actually pretty super. It's for healing too on different energetic centers and so much more. If you're into that, he's super cool. I love his stuff. But because I realized I forgot the moon is in Sagittarius today. So our emotional field is like going into our higher purpose, our beliefs, and traveling into the starry, starry night of the soul and the adventure of feeling the high vibe feelings. And do I believe the feeling? You know, sometimes we get a good, juicy feeling and we can't believe it's a good, juicy feeling because we've felt so bad for so long. So it's at the degree of being mindful of what we feel and just allowing our intuition or our higher self, our Sira, to be really our star guide. And last but not least, just to bring in some mystical, magical fun, the card of the day, which I'm super excited about, is brought to you by the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck that I have. Isn't that super cool? So the spiral, you know, we could probably just stare into that for the whole day and get different images and frequencies and tonalities. I kind of see a dragon in the very center. Maybe that's its scales or snake swimming around, right? And I thought this was actually really comforting because we could actually go down the spiral today, or we could go up the spiral today. So we have options. We always have options, but the essence of this card is actually from the galaxies in the sky down to the shells in the beach, which I actually just saw a shell on somebody's post and the frequencies of shells. And we all carry our own personal soul harmonic sound. So that's awesome. But spirals are really found all over, like all over in nature, in our natural world. They're everywhere. So this is like this coiled serpent, like that snake from ancient times, like the mystics and the mages and the sages. truly used as a tool for growth and really transformation, because snakes are always shedding their skin. In my cowrie shell, I have a symbol that is the snake that sheds depending on the position it's in. So I thought that was super cool. So for me, musing into the spiral, it's also the water energy in the Dagara tradition, the Dagara cosmology and the cowrie shells, and also that nature energy too. So it's kind of this one takes care of the other once we get in the flow. So I'm just kind of musing and bringing in about cowrie shells and divination. Plus, this is my shaman oracle deck, so it's there. It's all connected as far as I'm concerned. But it's a guide. The spiral. It's our guide to enter deep into our consciousness, into the unknown, and even extending like far out into like the heavenly realm, out into the galaxies, like the far beyond, the starry night. So it's interesting. I pulled this card with the Sagittarius, or the moon being in Sagittarius, because we truly can go into other galaxies. And we might have even come from another galaxy. Who's to say that's not a possibility, right? But when we surrender to this energy and actually release it, it really gives birth to a new reality. And I can honestly say we are definitely moving into a new reality. I mean, I quit watching the news. That's why I only post nature and castles. There's just, I can't get into the cosmic chaos. It's unhealthy. It funks up our frequency, and it's hard to keep our fields clean as it is, let alone just the chaos going on. But what's curious is the medicine of this card is to like descend into the depths and the rebirth. So that's kind of a Pluto energy, Plutonian, the planet Pluto. Just allowing nothing to get in the way of the process or the journey. So this truly is the right time, and all of the forces of nature are truly supporting us in this transition. You can use stones or twigs or yarn, I'm thinking of a dream catcher, to create and build our own spiral, but build it on the ground, but make it big enough to literally walk into the center, where you can create at least 3 turns in the center. And when you're in the center, go ahead and just offer the earth all of the feelings, all of the situations that you truly no longer want in your life. Like you want to upgrade your corridor. And once you're in the center, and you do this, you'd need to walk out of the center the same way as you entered it in. So yeah, I would totally build a crystal grid, and you'll literally feel recharged for your new birth in this journey. That's going to be super fun, especially today with a day like today. And we've got this full buck moon coming up, which my meditation is actually ready in the corridor. If you haven't subscribed, it's my gift to you. I'm excited about this buck moon, but this truly is an invitation for renewing ourselves and shedding off that old skin. We've already all done this, so it's not necessary, just keep scraping away at that old dead skin. Just welcome in the new and really climb in your skin, I say. It's just, breaking and shifting old habits and working on your faults. That kind of gets boring. And just allow nature to be that force of guidance for you. And, oftentimes new skin really feels scary. It really feels vulnerable. Watch babies, watch children. If you really want to learn how to climb into your skin, they're hilarious. And everything to them, like, because it's new. They're just re-experiencing again from another lifetime, just popping in here going, what is this? So just trust the medicine of the spiral as the gift and the guide in this journey. I'm super excited about that. So just to give you a heads up, tomorrow I'm either doing the snippet really, really early. I'm thinking like 8 a.m., if not 7. Or, if I do that, watch the replay. Or in the afternoon, it'll be like 2 or 3. I kind of haven't decided. But also, I'm going to start my journey into loving the skin you're in tomorrow. I'm not sure how I'm going to play this out, but it should be interesting. So with all of that, thanks for piping in, commenting. Sometimes I can't see comments, I'm not going to lie, just because of my setup. But with all that, thank you. InShalla, Ashe. And as always, I'll see you on the other side. Blessings.